Hi, Scott. ROCKFILE back with another podcast review for you. Let's talk about the 2025 film, Him. I wanted to see this movie once I saw the first trailer. Then it kind of stiffed at the box office. The Steelbook was really expensive when the 4K came out last November. Waited for a while. It's been on sale for a while on Amazon and Groove. Picked it up because I wanted to see it. This is one of those rare movies that because it's stiffed at the box office and it's only about 30% on Rotten Tomatoes, I went ahead and read the spoilers. I went ahead and read what it was about. And I don't do that, especially with horror movies, science fiction movies, comic book movies. I don't spoil them because I want to be surprised. But since there was a chance I may never see this movie, I read the spoilers and went, oh, that does sound like my kind of movie. I should probably watch that. So I waited for a sale because I wasn't going to, pay a lot of money for this because a lot of people don't like it. It had a $27 million budget. It's basically a sports horror movie. Justin Tipping directs it. Jordan Peele produced it. His name is slathered all over everything about it. Marlon Wayans stars in it. Tyreek Withers is in it. Julia Fox, Tim Heidecker, and Jim Jeffries all star in this film that a lot of people, some of the reviews out there, especially from, the average person, style over substance, man. This movie had no depth. No. I think the depth kind of hits you over the head, but there is depth here. It's a beautiful film. It's incredibly well done. Like, the acting is pretty much top notch. They knew they were kind of pushing the envelope of reality in some issues, some places here, I would say, but we'll get into some spoilers at the end of this review. If you plan to watch this, I don't want to spoil it. Let me go ahead and finish the review. And at the end, we'll talk about some things. And because I really want to talk about why this doesn't just stick the landing. Most of the movie is great. It's my cup of tea. I like dark psychological thrillers that could be supernatural or could not be. So we've got a flashback with a young child watching Marlon Wayans' character become a really great football star, and he wants to grow up to be that. His father pushes him into that. And eventually he does become a great star, and he's injured. He's injured on the field in a mysterious case of getting beaten over the head with a club. Anyway, when he starts recovering, it's unsure whether he's going to continue what was going to be an amazing career, and he's invited by the football star that he watched to come out and train with him. Isaiah is this legendary football player, and he's picked this Cam to come see him. Now, he didn't contact him directly, his manager or whatever, and says, we really would like to, see if you're the real deal. Come out here and spend a week with us. We'll be kind of like boot camp, and we'll put you through the paces and let you train with the big guy, and maybe, they're leading him to believe that maybe one day he'll be the GOAT, because that's who Marlon Wayans' character, Isaiah, is. He's the GOAT. He's like the best. He's got 8 championship rings. Nobody's done that before. He's been an incredible quarterback, and he's, it's getting late in his career. He's looking for the next one. At least that's what they lead him to believe. And that's how the movie plays out. Early on, you see hints of everything not be going great because, first of all, Isaiah's wife, Elise, is pretty strange. And then some of the things they do in training just get stranger and stranger as they put him through his paces and test him out. And he's got a doctor checking him out, and the doctor just walks up and hits him with a syringe full of stuff, says, this is good for you, and that kind of thing. And you can kind of see where this is going. The movie's only about 96 minutes and kind of honestly been about 10 minutes longer to explain a little bit more. I think where it goes in the third act, I was really on board with and looking forward to, but they don't successfully stick the landing. I think Marlon Wayans is fantastic in this. I mean, he goes over the top, but it needs to be. Tyreek Withers, who I didn't realize had been in some things I've seen before, he's an athlete in real life and applied that to playing the role. Julia Fox is almost, you don't even recognize her in this film. And it's the strange characters that kind of inhabit around Isaiah and this weird training facility home. Not sure what this is out in the middle of the desert. There's people like kind of worshiping it outside, and they're not allowed in. It's a walled complex, and they're taken there in like limousine type vehicles, and it's all private and massive and futuristic looking and weirdly concrete on the inside, but also very expensive looking. And that's where you get a lot of style over substance, because you have all of this that seems so surreal, and then there's some things that happen. And they lead you to believe that you may or may not be in his head. But there's an event, the event that injured him would be just like one of those scenes, but we know it actually happened because he's got stitches in his head. The 4K is near reference quality. I thought the video, it's highly stylized from beginning to end. Blown out features here, a lot of contrasty things here and there, some deep dark tones and colors. Few things punctuate with HDR. It's just a very interesting, beautiful looking transfer. And then the Atmos is incredible. But some bone-crunching hits, got some good bass hits. I need a second subwoofer, I think, because it was really putting my subwoofer through its paces in a couple of places. I really like the design of the Steelbook, and all in all, it's a movie that I think I gave 3 out of 5. A lot of people are giving it a lot less, but there's a lot here that's good. The performances are good. The cinematography and the directing is good. It just doesn't stick the landing, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. So it gets a halfway recommendation if you're into something that's kind of surreal that you may have to watch twice to get everything out of. It's a sports horror movie with bits of body horror in it, and that's all I'm going to say about it. The performances are good. It's well filmed. People are calling it style over substance. I would say it's almost too much substance for some people. There you go. We'll get into spoilers in 3, 2, and 1. So the movie does an adequate job with not letting you know if this is actually supernatural or not. There's things that happen during the course of the film that he wakes up from, so it makes you think it was just in his head or maybe not. There's even kind of an orgy scene later on in the film. There's some hyper-stylized violence towards the end of the film as well. And at the end, they do show you that something supernatural happened. But it's confusing. And there's there's a post-credit scene that was deleted, and there's an ending that was deleted. Both of them put a different spin on the end and the whole movie. And they didn't include them. So what you have is a very ambiguous ending that you get in some of the Jordan Peele joints, as Spike Lee would say. He produced this, and his hands are all over it. Justin Tipping, I gotta say, he's got to be a good director, but I looked him up. He's done some TV stuff and one small movie that didn't do well. How did he get a $27 million budget and Marlon Wayans? By today's standards, it's still a pretty small budget. But anyway, he mounted a pretty large production here, and they do some really cool special effects things that I didn't want to talk about because it's kind of a spoiler. I want people to be surprised when they see it. But like when two players hit each other, we've seen something like this. What was it? Romeo Must Die back in the day, where you kind of see the bones crunching within the person. It's kind of superimposed on the screen. This is done in just a very beautiful, cool way. I thought it was really interesting, and it makes you think about how brutal the sport is and what they go through. So a lot of the movie has this reality framing device that it is making a commentary on how hard football is, the price of fame, and all that kind of stuff. But are these strange things in his head actually happening? Are they supernatural? And there's one particular thing that happens at the very end. One person meets their end. He spares them, and then an invisible force takes this person out. An invisible force pulls them onto basically a pentagram and pulls them apart, and they explode. Kind of like Ready or Not. So that kind of... But then as he walks out of this area, stadium, wherever they were having this meeting of the cult that kind of runs all this stuff, which, by the way, he brutally murders everybody, which is really cool and actually kind of empowering. And as he kind of leaves with everybody looking in awe as he becomes the GOAT. And based on the two deleted scenes, the post-credit scene and the deleted ending, he does become the GOAT, but never really gets out of this. Like there's a scene at the very beginning where a football doesn't fall over, after a play, it's spinning on the ground and it spins, kind of like Inception. Is the ball going to fall over? Is it reality or not? So they do that at the end. They bring that back, and that same thing happens in that deleted scene where I guess this was the after credits scene, because he does become the goat, even supposedly without the help, but then it turns out they were still behind it and the ball is spinning for a supernatural reason. I think give us a little bit more of the supernatural towards the end and go totally bonkers with it, because they go bonkers in several places. There's a lot of things that are jaw-dropping that remind me of some of these A24 films and some of these foreign films I've been watching lately. Like, wow, they really went for it there, but they didn't totally go for it at the end, or at least they didn't want to include one of those two endings that would have kind of sealed the deal. Right now, it's just kind of ambiguous, and the more you think about it, the little more were all of those events real because the end is real, or was even the end still in his head? And maybe that's what they wanted. Maybe that was when they were all said and done, let's keep it ambiguous, and then you got to guess about the whole thing. But again, I like to think that movies like this or Devil's Advocate ends with some real supernatural, oh, that really was the devil or whatever, so to speak. So anyway, this is more of a cult, more of a pagan thing. You might get a lot of mileage out of this film. I will watch it again because it is a very stylish, very well-made film. Looks and sounds great. And I really Jordan Peele is a smart guy. Some of the producers are all smart guys. And I think Justin Tipping is probably a smart guy. Even Marlon Wayans had a comment after the movie didn't do so well. He's like, I appreciate critics and they have an important role, but sometimes things just don't click. And I get that. And maybe it is us. Maybe this movie is ahead of its time. It only made $28 million on a $27 million budget, and unfortunately, we're not going to get probably something like this in the near future from Universal Pictures. But all in all, it was nice to see a quote-unquote big-budget A-list film that went, oh, that reminds me of a European thing or a fringe thing or a cult thing. Again, I still don't think they stick the landing, and in the end, I'm not sure I completely enjoyed it, but I did enjoy the movie making of it. So you might get some mileage out of him. It's up to you, but the 4K looks and sounds great. Give it a shot that way. Scott and ROCKFILE, more podcasts are on the way. Please like, share, and subscribe, and have a spectacular day.